Oh, Michigan. The real Michigan story is about to come out this week, and a lot of Ohio State fans have been saying to Michigan fans for the past 1, 2, 3 years at this point about that they're about to be proven right because of what they've been saying the past 3 years. Now, I know, half of you are muttering, all right, here we go again. Can this story just go away? And there's almost certainly a Michigan fan in the comments who is typing living rent free right. Maybe he stopped typing as soon as I said that. I get it. We all saw the NCAA completely botch the punishment of all of this, and it looks like Michigan kind of got off scotch-free a little bit. They decided they wanted to treat this more like a slight mess in the house rather than a 5-alarm dumpster fire, which is more of what it actually is. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through why the Chris Partridge lawsuit is only the first public domino, why that $12 million Jenner and Block report dropping later this week is almost certainly sitting on a much larger institutional cover-up, and why Ohio State fans who got called salty or just living rent-free for 3 straight years are about to get the biggest I told you so in modern Big history or college football history, whatever you want to call it at this point. So if you care about the all-time series about recruiting and just enjoy watching the team up north try to explain away self-inflicted wounds, this one's for you. I'm JR with Buckeye Huddle, and this is the Buckeye Huddle podcast, your podcast keeping you up to date on all the things happening with Ohio State year-round and the rivals as well. We have episodes every Sunday to Thursday at 9 p.m. on podcast and YouTube. Go on over to BuckeyeHuddle.com. Check us out there. Message boards with Kevin Noon, Mark Gibler, myself, and others as well. All right, so this one's pretty juicy. Let's get into this here. I'm going to go ahead and assume you all know what we're talking about here with Michigan for the most part, the sign stealing scandal, Warde Manuel, everything else, yada, yada, yada. So the most recent update was that former Michigan assistant Chris Partridge just dropped an amended federal lawsuit naming Santa Ono. If you don't know who that is the former Michigan president, the one that was tweeting bet during the 2023 run. Warde Manuel, Tony Petitti, and the entire board of Regents for Michigan. The allegation is so Michigan is almost, is so Michigan that it almost hurts at this point. I mean, leadership found evidence of Connor Stallion's sign stealing operation while digging through Matt Weiss's computer for completely unrelated sex crime material. And then President Santa Ono allegedly told everyone in the room to keep quiet. Don't report it to the NCAA. And for the love of all that is maize and blue, do not create any records. That meeting happened before the 2023 season, before the undefeated run, according to the accusations here, or the allegations here. They beat Ohio State before they raised their shiny new trophy, still won't shut up about, and the exact same time, Michigan has spent about $11 million, some reports say 12, on Jenner and Block to investigate the culture of their athletic department. $12 million. Right. I mean, that probably could have told you everything that was happening for $12 from right here in my seat where I'm sitting right now. Yeesh. That's the most expensive participation trophy in college sports history. The report is expected this week. The Board of Regents meets Thursday. Multiple national reporters say a decision on Warde Manuel's future is imminent this week. Some lower-level reports are already reporting, or lower-level reporters are already reporting that he will, in fact, be fired. But Manuel himself went on the record and just said with a straight face that he's had, quote, great conversations with the new president, and there are, quote, no plans for him not continue as the athletic director. Now, buddy, if those are great conversations, I don't want to know what the bad ones sound like. Normally most people who have great conversations with their boss, they go home and they're like, honey, I got a raise. Honey, I'm getting a promotion. No, Warde Manuel goes home and he says, I'm not getting fired. Congratulations. Pretty low bar at this point. But what do you expect? This is the same athletic department who tried to tell everyone they had a bunch of nothing burgers and a rogue staffer. I mean, the Michigan rogue staffer and the Nothing Burger fairy tales are about to be absolutely exposed. The Partridge lawsuit alleges the university president himself ordered a cover-up before the 2023 season. You know, Santa Ono, the one who wanted to post bet all over social media in 2023 when everything started to leak out and happen, an embarrassing reaction by a university president. I'd be appalled if that was my university president doing that. That's not rogue. That is an institutional failure and embarrassment, but by all means. And they just spent close to $12 million trying to figure out how deep the hole goes, which is kind of what everyone should expect when your athletic department has had over 20 different scandals and firings under the same athletic director. Now, of course, the Michigan fans and their media will try to, wave this off as nothing, and we all saw this coming. It's no big deal. The NCAA already did their thing, or that it's just a nothing burger. But I got news for you. Civil lawsuits and NCAA investigations are not the same sport. You do not have the same thing going on there. The NCAA shows up in a prayer. A federal lawsuit shows up with subpoenas, depositions, and the ability to make people answer things under oath. That's why so many of these scandals end with a fine, a show cause, and a press release about forward through it all. But when the former president in the university is allegedly having said don't create records during a meeting with lawyers who already had the evidence, that's not Jim Harbaugh acting like he didn't know anything. That's the top of the pyramid trying to build an evidentiary black hole. And is anyone really going to believe that Jim Harbaugh didn't know anything about what was going on when you have the literal president of the university acting on it? I mean, Harbaugh has to have like level 100 oblivious levels if the president knew what was happening with a low-level staff member, what he was doing, but not Jim Harbaugh. And Buckeye fans, this is the part that should make every one of you smile just a little bit more. Those 2021 and 2022 losses that kept us out of the playoffs for both years, if the same operation that was humming in 2023 was already running then, which we all knew they were, the leadership knew, and chose silence on, games will sit under a stress that not even the national media can ignore, not even some people can have, guests on their podcasts and things like that. I'm not going to go there. I'm not saying that Ohio State gets the wins back or anything. That would obviously be the best case scenario, but you're not going to get that. I'm not saying the history books are going to be changed forever, but I am saying that when you look at them, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. And the people who spent years telling us just to get over it might want to have a seat. I mean, it took 4 scandals? I mean, the list is longer than my CVS receipt at this point, which is crazy because if Partridge's accusations ring true, this story is only going to get simultaneously funnier and sadder at the same time. I mean, you got the Matt Weiss computer. They were for one set of problems and accidentally found the sign stealing binder. Classic Michigan, am I right? Second, the don't create records order allegation, still an allegation at this point. In normal organizations, when you discover potential NCAA violations, you document everything and self-report. At Michigan, the alleged response was quick. Everybody forget how to write. Everybody don't put anything down. I mean, that's the most Michigan sentence that I think I've ever spoke. It's like they watched every corporate scandal movie and took the wrong notes, and now they have the $12 million price tag to go along with it. You don't write a check that size for a friendly wellness check where they just came in real fast, no problems here, and left. You write it when the file is so radioactive, you need an outside hazmat suit just to read it. I mean, it's pretty evident there is more than we know right now in that file. If you connect the dots that they already knew about the sign stealing operation before 2023 and chose violence and the same losses they knew about Sharon Moore's situation for years, then this is two separate messes. This is one continuous culture of see no evil, hear no evil, write no evil. The Regents aren't going to be able to use the classic Harbaugh excuse in court and say, oh, we didn't know. It was just going on. We had no idea. You should have known. And really, that was what Ohio State fans have been saying this entire time. You should have known, because you should have. And the best part, even while all this is happening, Manuel was out here doing the Great Conversations press tour. Oh, we've had great conversations. I said that earlier. It's like watching a guy in a sinking ship hold a press conference announcing that the pool maintenance is done and now the pool's open for everybody to swim in again. Yeah, you're right. The pool's open, buddy. You're going down in it. I mean, we literally have so many phrases and words in the Partridge lawsuit that could be settled with the Jenner and Block file. But from what I've seen, the single most important phrase in the entire Partridge lawsuit is "don't create records." That's the quote right there. 3 words. Don't create records. That's from the president of a major university allegedly ordering people to erase the paper trail of a cheating operation. When you understand why that order was given, you understand why they spent $12 million and why the full story is still bigger than anything released. And we're only going to get more in this situation. That Jenner file is going to go way beyond Moore and Stallions. It's going to get as deep as looking at how information is handled, how complaints disappeared, and how the athletic department and the university leadership danced around bad news for years, trying to just hope nobody finds out and nobody gets into it. This is one of the largest institutional cover-ups I think we've ever seen in college football. Not the largest, but one of the largest. The Partridge lawsuit is the first public crack, and the report this week could be the absolute sledgehammer that smashes the entire thing to bits. So what does this mean for the good guys in the scarlet and gray? Well, first, a number of Ohio State fans are going to feel pretty vindicated. And for 3 years, fans got the you're just salty treatment, living rent-free, all that stuff. The national media did their best to kind of play both sides and dance on this, which when you play both sides, you're going to take a side whether you like it or not. If even half of what Partridge is alleging under the penalty of perjury turns out to be true, then every Buckeye who said this goes higher than Stallions gets a nice little quiet victory lap. And then second, recruiting in the portal just became a free marketing campaign. I'm not saying that their entire team is heading to the portal. Please don't hear me say that. But I am saying that Michigan is walking into a leadership vacuum right now before football season. And no matter how much money they start offering to players, it would not be a good idea to send your son to someplace like this. A new athletic director will inherit a football program whose previous regime is being accused in federal court of covering up cheating and personal misconduct. That is the recruiting equivalent of showing up to a house tour and, finding the previous owner left a note that says, "Sorry about the mold." Ryan Day and Ross Bjork have been selling "we do it the right way" for a long time, and sometimes it doesn't always feel like it's the right way. Sometimes it always doesn't feel like the best way, but at the end of the day, it is the right way. This week, just turn the volume up to 11. Third Big Ten Media Days are in 2 weeks, and when that happens, Michigan's going to take the podium on July 30th. I almost feel bad for Kyle Whittingham. I mean, imagine walking into the room with the Jenner report floating around, Partridge's allegations still hanging, and Warde Manuel either gone or looking like he's one bad PowerPoint away from early retirement. I mean, Whittingham didn't do this stuff. He did take the job, but he didn't do all this stuff. That's not the flex that they thought they were getting when they raised the 2023 trophy. And finally, the long-term competitive landscape. Programs that refuse to clean house after this level of institutional failure usually don't suddenly become healthy. They get more lawsuits, they get more FOIA wars, they have more mutually agreed upon separations, and the punishment now is $12 million for forgetting how to write things down. What an absolute mess this whole thing is for them. If the Jenner report and the Partridge lawsuit land the way people who have seen pieces from them are describing, then Ohio State fans were right all along. Not a little right, but pretty much completely right. The cover-up went higher and lasted longer than the national media ever admitted. And yes, the championship photo with Outcast is still pretty hilarious. Their 2023 national championship will go down as one of the most discredited in all of college football history. So the bottom line is that the real Michigan story isn't finished yet. The Partridge lawsuit is in Chapter 1. The $12 million report this week is in Chapter 2. And every person who spent 3 years telling Ohio State Move on is about to have a much harder time keeping a straight face. We were about the depth of it. We were right about the institutional failure. And if the documents that come out match even half of what's already been recorded, we're going to be right about a whole lot more than that. Stay locked in. This is going to be even more entertaining, and as more information comes out, we'll let you know about it. The real story in Ann Arbor is still bigger than what they've let us see, and Ohio State was right all along. If you want more clear, honest Buckeye analysis, like and subscribe to the Buckeye Huddle. Drop your take on the full Jenner report or the Chris Partridge, stuff that's going on there that's supposed to see the daylight this week. Or do you think it's all going to get buried and we're never actually going to see it? That's possible too. Thanks for watching the Buckeye Huddle podcast. Thanks for listening to the Buckeye Huddle podcast. We'll see you tomorrow with another episode at 7 p.m. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go Bucks.